Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be covering the floor joists, which you can see all around me. They're obviously all in now, so a few weeks ahead of this video, but again, I'll caveat it by saying I'm not a tradesman and I am way slower, but also I'm waiting for materials. It's the first time I've done this chemical fix system and it is quite good. I was quite happy with it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to try to send the video quality up in the upcoming videos. Just try to improve things, and I'm going to get a microphone as well, just to improve the audio quality, because it is a bit annoying. Some bits the volume goes really low, some bits the volume's really high, and this helps you equalize it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any feedback, please let me know. Video quality, carpentry quality, general building, filming, attitude, outfits, anything. Let me know. But yeah, enjoy the video. So underneath this window, I'm gonna start rebuilding. So I'm gonna fix a wall plate on these bricks that I've put in. They've had a few weeks to go off now. And you can see all the repointing I've done above, just so I can get to this lintel safely. So I'm gonna fix a wall plate here and a wall plate here. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna go about doing that and the prep that's involved. I've started to put together all the tools I'm going to need. So I've got twist nails for my joist hangers, gun for my resin, chem fix, styrene free so it's stronger. I've got here also stapler. It's the staple on the this damp course to the back of the timber. I've also got my hangers, so my joist hangers. Drill, which I'm going to put a spade bit on to drill through the timber, SDS to drill through into the brickwork, impact for fixing in my temporary fixings, which are these ones. So I'm going to put like 4 of these in just to get it level, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Saw, blower, then I don't have to work in all this danger. But we're going to try to do the neatest job possible with timber here. I'm going to attach the joist hangers before I put it to the wall so I can stagger my fixings and it works out a little bit easier on me doing it on my own. So I get that one in and then I can get the other side in and then let it go off, tighten it up, and yeah, then I can in theory sit joists across it. I do also need to build up the pier wall in the middle because the span tables the room is slightly too long. This pier wall will need to be built up, so focus. This pier wall will need to be built up so that the wall plate sails just underneath it. I also do have in that box my laser. So it's a 360 laser. It's the most expensive tool I own. Cost a lot. Yeah, an uncomfortable amount of money. More than I ever want to spend on tools really. But it's brilliant. It's green line laser, so it's really clear to see. And then I can get it just perfect. Get it on the wall. Then it's safe, secure, level, and makes my life a lot easier.
Bear with me, don't gotta worry for the both of us. Put you in the driver's seat, don't gotta hurry in the name of love.
Okay, so that one is assembled. I marked this one up as its sister, brother, whatever, for this wall, so the spacings are the same. But you can see what I've done here. I've just fixed out the joist locations. So I put in a spare bit of timber in there so I could just fix the nails through, so I could wrap them over so when they're fixed in the wall I haven't got to worry about knocking in any nails that I cannot reach. I've pre-drilled the holes for the chem fix, staggered. It's around 450 centres, and up, down, 3/4 of the way through the timber. I'm gonna dust all this off, get my temporary fixings in. So I do a few of these temporary fixings, do it to the laser, clear some room for the laser, and from there I'll be able to set in my chemical fixings. clear out all the holes a little bit more. I've been using my blower, but you just want to agitate some of the dust in there as well. And then mix the Chem Fix, go along, and yeah, let them go off. But you want to make sure you're twisting them as they go in, so it just embeds into the thread. So when you're like here and it's fully back in, and that a little bit of dust on there. So I'll go across and get the residual dust out until nothing's showing up on those rods, and then the Chem Fix is good to go in. Otherwise, this stuff will stick to the dust. So I took the plate off just to show, really. This one's on the joint, but it's a proper cementy joint there. You see, but the rest are hitting bricks. Even that one's a little bit close, but it's in the brick. Here, brick, brick. The original hole wasn't in the brick on this one, so I redid it. But it's just more to show how they go in, and then you can see all the resin. So it was it's a bit squirrely as it gets over to this edge here, the plate, but yeah, next time I won't take them off. It's just literally just to show this part. I'll let them go off, then I'll put the plate back on and show you the process to tighten it up. Okay, so they're in, plates are on. So what I'm using is square plate washer, bought that separately. Obviously not tightened these up. Got the standard rods, I believe they're raw plug ones. So I've got threaded bar for the rest of it, as the threaded bar works out way more cost efficient. These sets are great, don't get me wrong, for time efficiency, and especially when you cannot find your angle grinder bits to chop the rod. Yeah, it would have been way easier. But this way means it's already nailed on, all the hangers are nailed on, ready to sit the joists on when I get that one in over there, which I plan to do in a minute. On top of the hangers, I'm just routing out where the joist hangers hang over the top with my little palm router. That's set to the right depth, not a lot, but that way it doesn't kick up the floor and it's just a nicer job. Cost me 10 minutes, makes me happier at the end. But yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's literally so subtle, just so the hanger sits in there a bit. Just the same as what I did on these ones. You can see there. That's the best way to show it. It's completely flush. But that was the first one. Took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I don't know how long that took, probably like 45 minutes. And then I eventually got the trestles in, because working on the floor, not ideal. Should have just got the trestles, set up your working space first. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. But then I'll be able to get the joists run in as well. But I may do the other room next door, just where I've got the SDS and all the bits set up. Let that chemical fix go off, and then I can come back in here, chop the joists and just slide them into position. Just so I've got something stable to walk on. But I may not, as I need to build this pier wall. Who knows? I'll do the chemical fixing in the next room, and then I'll set out these walls and work out what I need to do with the wall plate and everything, because I may need to take this down a course, because I've gone up to 6x2 from 4x2 floor joists, just to accommodate for insulation. And then yeah, so may need to take it down a course, put a damp course on, and then bed my timber wall plate across here so it supports across this span. Because if you don't support across the span, then it's going to be bouncing. Not great. My last house, genuine story, is probably the best pat on the back of any carpentry job I've certainly ever done. So when I sold my last house, the Rick surveyor come round and he's like tapping on the floor, beating his foot on the floor. He goes, are these concrete floors? And I was like, no, they're timber floors that I did. I think that's the only job where I've been like, oh yeah, I did do a good job, but it took ages. Probably took me about 3 times longer than it would take a regular carpenter. But I did it. If you want to go back, watch that video, it exists. But I just thought I'd show the way I'm actually tightening these up in greater detail. So I've got the DeWalt DCF 900 type 1. This has a precision torque setting on it. That setting there. So what it will do is it will spin for a second, and once it reaches the point of impact, it spins, I believe it's around half a second to 3/4 of a second, allowing you like precision control, because you don't need to strip everything out. This is more than powerful enough to turn these right through that wall. So we don't want that, but we want it to be able to tighten them up in a way where it allows these to be tight to the wall, but not too tight. So it just allows you to precision adjust. This one's been going off overnight, and you may have seen from the last clip. So I'm just going to tighten off all the nuts. Be careful not to over tighten them, but it's going into all new brickwork there. Nice strong cementy course where I patched it in. But yeah, nice and level on the laser, pretty perfect, happy with that. Now isn't that nice lighting? So you can have it on like a proper setting, just go across and tighten them all up a little bit, just so they start. And then the precision setting, do this. You see, it proper pulls in those plate washers. Nice and tight. And up close you can see how tight it's pulled in these washers. Not the thickest plate washers, I think they're like 3-4 mil, but it's like pulled it so tight. It's actually curved it a little bit, but yeah, nice and tight to the wall. Plenty enough for these floor joists. Now I'm going to get on with the next room. This room's slightly bigger. It does still have this fireplace mantle in, so it's an external breast with just this internal section here. I can still get in my wall plates, get them to go all off, get them nice and level. And this is the other side of that wall. So get this all perfect, let it go off, and then maybe go back to the other room, do the actual joists in there. But it's a perfect day for doing this. It's not too hot, not too cold, because I have no heating, no electrics, no lighting. And it's the first day of British summertime, so got an extra hour to play with. So I'm attempting to measure this. It hasn't got to be 100% accurate. We actually need it slightly under, otherwise it won't shimmy in. And the joists don't run up to touch the wall, because you need gaps to get the cables, services and everything up. But you want it quite close to the wall because you don't want the floorboard sitting on a void. So this gap here works out 305, and so does the other side. So I'm going to cut them to 303. And then I have plenty of room to shimmy them in. And then the joists run all the way across. This wall is here. It's probably about a 4 foot void, I would say. But yeah, I'll measure it. Okay, I was way off. 3 foot. It's just 2 for 3 foot. 3 foot 2. 4 foot's there. But yeah, big old void underneath the floor, so it'll make it a lot easier for storing things, because I've just got these fixing boxes here and then just some hand tools that aren't worth anything, because there's no real security at this build other than me closing the doors, but you could break in quite easily, so nothing of value can be left here really overnight. But this is all the brickwork that I repaired. So I repaired this section. It was actually like that before in the previous bond. Obviously this is a lot stronger mix than the 7-to-1 or whatever they did when they built this house in the 1930s. But this is where my wall plate will be going, in this like strong 3-to-1 mix and new hard bricks. So the laser's set up. You can see through this little pocket that I left open, it runs off the top of the joist over there, which is where I set off the other room. It's also pretty level through here, to be fair. And just pings a line around there. So that'll be the top of the joists. But essentially, I'll be temporary fixing them in with 2 masonry fixings, and then go for the chem fix again, like I did in the other room. I feel like that worked quite well. But yeah, obviously using the puffer as opposed to the blower and like little mastic nozzles and things, it didn't work quite as well as I thought it would. But yeah, going to use this blower my friend Josh gave me, and that will help me clear out the holes so the chemical fix bonds to the brickwork as opposed to the loose dust and debris from drilling the hole. The process is much the same. It's just pairing them up, making sure all the spacings are the same and marking them out in pairs. It saves you a lot of time. So I'm going through, putting all the hangers on, and these ones are going to be slightly different as I'm going to cut down lengths of threaded bar to put in the wall and then chemical fix to those threaded bars. I'll show you those in a moment. But yeah, much more cost effective. Okay, so there's the plate, it's on. You can see it's to the green laser on the edge of it. Right on the edge of the timber all the way across. So for 5 meters of it, it was like £22. So way cheaper than buying these. So just buy nuts, washers and this bar. Just got to chop it down with the angle grinder and make sure I don't chop my fingers off or lose an eye. So I do have glasses on here, and I believe I do also have a dust mask on as well. But it's not worth losing your eye over. I do have the guard still on the angle grinder. It gives me enough depth to cut through these bars and just chopping them all equal lengths. So that's those ones cut. I'll just show you. There's all the bars cut. My rough template, just basically so I ended up with enough of the same length, and then the goal is not to damage the threads. May have to like touch them up, but it's way cheaper doing it this way, and it's no less effective at holding in the chemical fix and the wall bolts and everything. So I don't know whether there is or isn't a benefit to me slowing the process down and actually showing you what I'm doing, but I'll just show you here. So I've got a drill bit. This is actually a 14mm drill bit to drill a 12mm hole. That way you end up with more of the chemical solution in there, bonding round the rods themselves. So I've set my depth gauge, this bit, to pretty much where the rod ties off, so you can see there. So it's got to go through this 2-inch timber and then into the brickwork. So it's going into the brickwork about 3 inches or so, almost all the way through the brick. Yeah, 2-3 inches. Next stage, this device, right to the bottom of the hole. So a more effective way of agitating the loose dust I found is a little brush. You get these little wire brushes that just go in the hole and then you puff it out. In addition to that, so it's even better than me trying to agitate it with an offcut of one of these bars, which is what I was doing before. I mean, I've had no issues with the fixing strength, but it's better. Right, so that one obviously all done, gone off, and now this one has also gone off, and I've tightened it up. So I might as well cut some floor joists. Looks like I've done something in them. I still need to take this section out. So it just allows me to spend some time outside really and bring some timber in. So still going to take this section out, but I'm going to run my wall plate along here and along that edge because this stops here, which is what's going to run my wall plate on, which is going to sit the timbers on. I think this is actually a little bit low. But yeah, I've got my laser measure so I can measure exactly into the joist hangers from the other side to get accurate measurements. There will be some slight differences, but I'm going to take a little cut list, work through it, number it as well, so it makes my life a lot easier. Work my way from the door and just get them cut, put them in here. I could sit them in the hangers and fix them in, but I don't think I'll do that. Okay, so I've archaically put all the timbers cut for this room as well, and also this room, they're all in there. Luckily, only 2 of them were a different cut, and all of these were the same cut. Obviously, I've not offered them in yet, and I need to make sure like the cut of the timber, like the C of the timber is up. But I need to get in my wall plates now. So if I do my wall plates today across here and in the other room, then essentially I can sit the joists on it from tomorrow as I'll let it go off overnight. But I need to work out where this runs to, so I'm going to get my laser set up. Sadly, I think my phone is about to die, but I'm going to get my laser set up, get those fired in, see if I can get it done today. But I'll film more on me doing more of these in the future. Okay, so that's the first joist on. I just checked it before I went on camera. Yeah, it's bang on. What I want to do is get a bed on here because obviously there's going to be a gap, and it is actually a gap at the bottom as well because I've sat screw heads out, so the screw heads bond to the masonry like you can see here. So the heads sit a little bit out, and that way it will pull in. Doesn't really make much of a difference, just thought I'd do it. So I'm using some staples, get rid of some bad screws I've got that I'm dying to get rid of. But I needed to finally get that mantle piece out the way and the bottom of that chimney breast. It's all external, so it's not actually sat on anything. It's like sort of like a fascia that will need to block up, and there is a brick arch in there. There's no lintel as such, but brick arch, it's nice and secure. I'll probably fix bits of timber to it and then board over the top of it to bond it out and match it in with the rest of the wall. So I found the best way was to have wet beds and then sit the joists on them, fix them in with a single 90mm nail through there, and then check it's level. Which I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty level. And they're still yet to be fixed into this wall plate. But floating, I mean, hanger to hanger, they went in pretty easy. And then I've just got that last one over there, but I need to get those timbers out first. Probably tomorrow. Okay, so that's a bit better in this light, but you can see now I can get working access a bit safer to this lintel here. Get some boards on these joists. Get all the joist noggins cut. Although I don't have a chop saw yet on site because I have no electricity still. I do think this, however, will all need to be just relayed once I get the new lintel on. It's probably just easier. I'll prop those joists, take this whole section out, new lintel, and then put the new brickwork across because it's bowing in quite a bit. I don't know if it picks up on camera. but the lean on it's quite aggressive. Surprisingly, one of the most time-consuming bits is all the twist nails. You can get a PPN nail gun, which fires them in, but it's quite expensive for the outlay. I don't do this every day, although it feels like it at the moment. It's more a case of just buying kilos worth of the nails. Probably spent about £20 on the twist nails and just hammering them in manually. It takes a tiny bit longer. And that's the hangers in. So it's important to nail as many of the holes as you can. Probably could chuck one in now and there, but yeah, we'll do that in a sec. All these ones heavily nailed, and as the joists come across, they sit on obviously this plate. I mean, it doesn't get any tighter than that. Sat on there, and is there any cut? Is there heck? So the way I did this, I sat them on wet and then put the weight of the joists on them, and it seemed to work out really well, so I'm quite happy with that. But it was still green the muck, as I only did it yesterday. So what I actually plan to do with it is put a couple of fixings in there with the nail gun either side, but after I've done the noggin, so I'm not having to wrestle it around too much, because do the wrestling with the noggins. So those would be the bits of wood that add the rigidity across here, and I'll do it insulation spacings, which will save me time when I put the insulation in, as I only need to do one cut on the insulation, but I'll show you that when it comes to it. I'll just show you the noggins and everything today. I won't go into the insulation because that's not being ordered for a few more weeks yet. So there's all the noggins, and that's just from the offcuts of these joists. I've cut that joist as well, and also the last one in there. Don't know why I didn't cut them. Maybe it's my counting skills, who knows. But I'm going to put you on time lapse and I'm going to get them in. So it's me firing them in with a 90mm nail gun, and I'm going to be using a story stick as well, which is just a way of me not picking up the tape measure every 10 seconds. And that's going to be to space the noggins at 1200 spaces in between each joist. You'll see what I'm doing, but it's for insulation purposes, so I can just cut one groove off the insulation. If you haven't seen that video where I covered this before, go back and watch that one. It's a slightly different type of floor joists. They weren't bolted to the wall, but it was still 6x2s, and I backfilled them with rigid insulation, 120mm, and it worked out quite nicely. So I'm going to attempt to get all these floor joists in now. So I'm going to be hobbling over with my nail gun. I've got a story stick as well, as mentioned. It's just over 1200 long, and that'll be for my insulation spacing, noggin spacings. So I'll just carry this around with me, spacing out where I'm going to put all of these, which is just the same size timber. It's the offcuts from all the 6x2. So rather than it go to waste, and there's a little section like this big, I would say, like 5 inches or so, 4 inches. What, 20 centimeters, 10 centimeters, 12 and a half centimeters, something like that, which is I'm going to make little blocks out of to sit the insulation on. I've done that before and it worked out, so I'll do that again. Okay, so that's all the noggins in, as you just saw. Go on then, I'll show you. Pretty good. And more importantly, the stabilise test, even though this isn't the stabilise. I mean, pretty good, huh? But yeah, I think it's important just to spend a little bit more time. Probably took me about 5 times as long as it would take a professional carpenter to do that. But first time I've ever done it with the chemical fix and the joist hangers. But I think it went quite well. I've just got the smaller of the 2 bedrooms to do, and then the rest of the entire house. So I'm just going to get all noggins in here, and then I can put some boards on it and start to cover it over and get to this section over here. So as I'm working my way through these 2 little, what will be bedrooms, going through and doing the noggins, I'm currently waiting on the electricity. So I haven't removed all of the hallway, just as they will need access to the mains board, which is above the front door. So rather than remove that and then say it's not safe working conditions and not be able to do the electricity board, I've left it for the time being. And then I'm going to go on to the other side of the house and skip out the hallway till last. It's kind of a messed up way of doing it, but I have the laser so I can level it across quite easily. And as it came to do the other side of the house, I thought I'd just speed up the process, as you've seen it all before, and a little bit of time lapse.
Bear with me, don't gotta worry for the both of us. Put you in the driver's seat, don't gotta hurry and I'm in love.
So I've got the wall plates fixed on this one. I just thought I'd show you how much they drag in. So I've cut it off pretty flush. The wall's not perfectly straight, but it's not terrible. If I go with the Ugga Dugga, this is on the lowest setting. Okay, so that's in. It looks quite mucky. It's covering the top of the brick. It's not that big of a bed, but it's still a pretty big bed. Smaller than what was there before, and it's level to the bottom of the hangers. But I'll let that go off and then mix up tomorrow and do this one first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, I got it bedded on. Did double 4x2 plate. Did I need to? In hindsight, I should have probably just laid another course of bricks. But double 4x2 wall plate, and I'm just making sure it's level that way, and then I level it off the other wall plate that I've already set in. Which, once that first section's gone off, it will allow me to put my joists in and then work around that section there. But that's not what I'm doing today. So I'm still repairing like the low level brickwork that you see here. And here, this is just going off from yesterday. I did a little lintel in there as well. just over that section. There was nothing there before, but I thought I'll chuck in a lintel, and it's quite messy. Yeah, I put the damp proof course in, and then I was like, I didn't wipe off the brickwork. It's not going to be seen, it's just meant to be strong, and I'm just going to chop this section out and then do the same there. At this point, I'd manually mixed over 1 ton of muck. So it was kind of getting boring at this point, but here's me doing it and adding a damp proof course just for an extra degree of infallibility, as there is a damp proof course below the bottom mortar course. And yes, I am laying through the doorway. This is so when I fix on my plate, it doesn't cause any weaknesses. The flooring, the subfloor structure, does also sail directly over the top of this. Okay, so this is done. It's ugly, it's strong, it's never going to be seen again. Once it's covered over, I'll just show you it quick. Be gentle. Yeah, so there it is, the lintel down there, and then just the brickwork. The bond is awful. It's different size bricks, but it just needs to be below floor level and strong. So it's to support these walls. Previously, you saw what was there. It was quite ropey, so it's more about just having something secure there. Let that go off for a few days, and then I can fix my wall plates to it that side and run the floor in this section. So I'm going to put the floor joists in. They only run to this wall plate, and then eventually, you have to forgive the mess as well, run out of floor space, which is why I need my subfloor structures to turn up, which is coming in the next few days. But the next set of joists will run from there as well and across to here on a wall plate that I'll fix on. So you have joists running there and then joists running there to that middle wall plate. Then hopefully that can start to go off, and then I could just cut my floorboards, place them, and then I have space to walk around on, space to put my hand tools and whatnot. But I have some leftover muck, so I'm just gonna get this section filled in. Probably won't film it though, it's quite boring. But get that section filled in, and then I can clear out the floor in here. So that's those bricks patched in, and then I did a little bit of pointing with any excess muck I had. Need a little bit more, as I end up scraping out all the loose bits. There's a few bits over here and whatnot that need pointing up. But once I get a mix on, I'll fill those in. But yeah, just trying to split up the work, keep it interesting, keep it going for myself, just where it's me here, entertaining myself. Oh, mask, double chin. So I'm gonna put these floor joists in now, have a swing of the hammer for a bit, and yeah, mix it up.
I've been searching for a piece of me. I've been counting on the hands of time. I love my body, I love my mind, with desire out of place.
Okay, so that's them all in. They're not fixed in or hanged in case I need to adjust them in any way. Just roughly put to where their marks are on the wall plates. And yeah, as you can see, some have like little cambers in them and whatnot. Try to get the camber, the bow of the timber to bow upwards always. And then under compression it'll go down. That end one has a massive camber in it. But I could use some screws or stand on it whilst I fix it in. And once it's weighted down with the floor, it'll be fine. But just leveled it through with my 6 foot level from the other room. So it's pretty much bang on there to there, so I know I'm good there. Just don't want to go fixing in these joists, particularly these end two here, primarily because that's where my water main comes in. So I'm just going to be able to lift these two out and then put my new water main through here and probably run it all the way to there, the kitchen. I imagine I'll probably do a sink in this bay window. Seems like the opportune place. It's 1800 wide, so I could get unit, i.e. curved units maybe, see what the cost is. And then oven, fridge on this side, utility stuff in there, like washing machine and tumble dryer, so forth. But my plan for the rest of the day is like 1 in the afternoon. I'm just going to get something to eat, go cook something quick, and is to run this plate in here and also the one over there, so I can tie it into this brickwork when it goes off, all these timbers. And then those floor joists will obviously shoot into this wall plate, which will then fix into this brickwork here. I may yet remove this, I'm not 100% sure. Probably chemical fix into it and just do my chemical fixings here and here, stagger that middle one, just because I'm concerned about trying to fix through into that, because there's nothing there as such holding it down. The flooring is going to shoot right across it, and then the joist will start in here. Here's a more accurate glimpse of things. So wall plate along here, wall plates here, and then let that go off, and then I can do these floor joists over to this section here. I'm dying to get the roof done at this point. You can see the scaffolding still up, but getting this floor substructure in so then I can do all my internal repairs feels like the most prudent thing to do. The roof is currently stripped, but I'm going to go through, build it up from the ground, and then repair the roof. But now it's just a repetition of going through, doing all the hangers, getting that damp proof on the back, and then fixing on the wall plate. So I've just been humming and hawing whether I should build a pier wall, 4 courses of brickwork up instead of chem fixing this to the wall, because the precarious bit of going through the door, I could just take off the tops of those bricks. It's a weird one. If I was more of a skilled bricklayer, or my brother had a bit more time, I would just build a pier wall in front of it and then sail over the top of the gas main there. I felt more comfortable doing this. It's a little bit quicker as well than building the brickwork up and then waiting for it to go off. Is it any weaker? I don't think so. I don't think it makes any difference, if I'm being honest. It's just there is a weak spot here, but it's not going to make a difference, if I'm being honest. It's all going to be interconnected by the flooring above. It's going to be noggined out of this world, and it's all in 6x2s as well. But let me know what you would have done in that section, whether I've done it wrong to your liking or whatnot. Or another suggestion I haven't thought of, I guess I could do a timber pier wall. Again, it's a bit more complicated because the ground runs away, lots of cuts, lots of fiddling around, and then it still needs like some sort of hard standing, like a footing. Then chem fixing on the wall plate and doing those temporary masonry fixings, clearing out all the holes. The wire brush system that I've got I think is superior than just using the puffer and then something to agitate it. The wire brushes I bought like a little set off eBay. It was only like, I think £8-9, but it comes with a multitude of different sizes and its own little puffer. So you can clear out all the holes effectively, and then you're getting the best bond to the brick possible. Well, this wasn't ideal. Midway through putting in the chemical fix, which is pretty hard to squeeze out, it snaps clean off. Luckily, I have a spare one, which I never quite got the hang of. It's quite a bit more expensive one, but you've got 2 flow speeds, you've got a chance to like lock it off and everything. Otherwise, you would have seen me doing some jiggery pokery with a clamp, which wouldn't have been ideal. But they're all on. I did a couple there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Again, I could have done the pier wall. I'm still thinking about it. You can see the brick on edge there at the highest point. Could have dug all this back. I think it's a lot more prep work for nothing gained. Whereas, as I mentioned, in that little tiny room back there, I could just build 2 pier walls. It's flat, relatively flat in there. And I can cut just whole concrete blocks, just sit one concrete block all the way across. So I think that'll be a lot easier. But now I'm going to get these joists in. I'm just going to cut them all. So I've got my laser in my tool belt. So I just take a laser measurement from this side all the way into the hanger, and then it's millimeter precise. So it takes a measurement from the back of it. So I'm just doing it so it's got maximum bearing, and then just firing it, if you can see. It's on that hanger currently, just firing it into the joist. 3417, 3418, 3417. So I'll do a few measurements across here, and if they're different, then I'll have to do a cut list. If not, just that one cut. It can get pretty repetitive just doing all these cuts, and only with the battery saw, it does get through batteries quite quickly. But it's nice to be outside. Do get to chat to some of the neighbours as they go by. They ask me lots of questions about what's going on, why I'm doing it and everything. But this house was abandoned for so long. They're so happy to have something done with it because it's a bit of an eyesore. Then it comes to just fixing in the joists, placing them, getting the camber facing up. I keep calling it the bow, but it's really the camber of the timber, the natural curvature in it. Where it's a natural product, you're going to get it. And then just facing the timber camber upwards, sitting on that wall plate and making the joists look perfect. But you guessed it, it's more noggins again. So cutting all these noggins for 400 centres, you want it 355 millimeters because it's like 45 mil timber, and then just repeating those cuts. More battery drainage, but it needs to be done. Don't have a chop saw that's cordless. They're like £1,000 for a decent one. Okay, so all the joists are in. They're not fixed down or anything. I'm just going to go across it with level, see if any need any packers, or if I need to take any off the wall plates just to bed them in perfectly level or get them in perfectly level. And down there, I was going to have my water main running through there, but it's where my electricity and my gas currently come through. The water comes through in the hallway. If I make this space flooring, it's going to make my life a lot easier in terms of like just moving around the building, because at the moment, as you can imagine, hobbling across joists that are not fixed down is not a clever idea. If I get injured, no one does the work. So I'm going to be a bit cautious there and get the flooring down, put all the noggins in, fix it in place, and yeah, go from there. So getting all these in, again, it's the hangers, the nails, repeating the process. It's very time consuming, but one of these jobs done correctly will pay you dividends when you come to set everything else out in the house. So you see all the noggins are running through like that. That's just going to make my life with the insulation so much easier. And then just getting all the nails in the hangers. So you put twist nails in the hangers, and that keeps building control happy. Okay, so that's the floor sort of in, the substructure, the noggins and whatnot. Just laying the ply on loosely because I still need to put in insulation underneath here. I spoke to building control. They said because it's 6x2s, maybe 120, but I'll speak to them again just to get something confirmed before I buy loads of insulation. So I've got the waste pipe. Before I fix down these joists, I'm just going to put it underneath, otherwise I know I wouldn't be able to get it underneath in one piece and we'd have to do joins, and that's never as good. So just put it underneath there, and if I end up using it, getting a sink here, then I've future-proofed it in a way. But now I've got to do all the same down there, so we're going to go through that section now.
Now you're leaving, but I know you got your reasons too. I didn't hear the sirens, I didn't wanna see the warning signs, and now I pay the price, yeah. Oh, I should've known. It hits me like a tidal wave every time you say my name. It hits me like a tidal wave. It hits me like a tidal wave. A tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave. Tidal wave.
Then it's on to clearing out the next room, which was the old kitchen slash pantry, as a few people corrected me in the last video. But it's filled with all the old bricks and tiles from this room. So just me clearing around the gas main. This is probably going to be a utility slash boot room, which is going to be the exit point to the back garden.
In this little room, I'll definitely build a couple of pier walls. It's a lot flatter. You just dig and pour a little footing, let that go off, and just run a pier wall there and a pier wall here, or even easier, or rather easier on the timber offcuts, pier wall here, and then just sit the timbers on it all the way down. So you're gonna have to forgive the mess. This is the room I've been storing my acro props in, and I did a little pour here for some sort of footing to put the sleep wall on. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm setting out the floor. So I've done it from 2 datum points. So I've done it from here, just leveling a timber off there, working out where the bottom is, where my wall plate will sit. So the wall plate will sit on top. There you go, it'll be a 4x2 that sits on top of blockwork. This wall will just hold the wall plate. It'll be spread across that entire section. Most sleeper walls, pier walls, don't actually have much underneath them. If anything, I've gone a bit substantial with this big footing here. You can see from the greyness how much cement is in it. I think it's like a 3-to-1 ballast mix. It runs all the way across here to about here. This is all solid ground. I couldn't break into it with this. So I'm going to lay directly on top of it with about 2-3, I think it works out around 40 to 50 mil of cement, a bed, over on that section. And it will be that all the way across. So I actually need to chop down all these blocks, which is a bit annoying. So the other option was make it out of these smaller concrete bricks. But I think I'm going to opt for these bigger concrete blocks. It's less to lay. It's going to do the same job. But at the moment, you can see that wouldn't be big enough of a bed, especially as it gets over to here where there isn't much of a footing. It's just that solid ground. Obviously, I will get some water on here so you can see how tough this ground is, and clear off all this dirt so the blockwork adheres to it. But I need to chop 6 or 6.5 of these rather down, take about 20-30 mil off, and then that will give me a good solid bed to build on top of, and then I can get my wall plate, which will be 4x2 timber, not 6x2 like this, on top of it. And then on top of that wall plate, so we'll be getting a 30 to 40 mil solid bed underneath. Then my wall plate will go on top, which will be a 4x2 material. This is 6x2, but just using the 2-inch side to show. And then on top of that, I'll have my floor joists running that way, and then you'll have the rigid feel insulation across most of the top, so you still get that airflow underneath the joist there, and there'll be airflow at the very end of the block over there, and I may add a section in the middle. This is by far and away my preferred method of putting in floor joists. I think it's superior, but it does require a lot more prep work, and with the voids in this house, doesn't make sense to do it in every room. That being said, this room did make sense. So it's just laying blocks in a hideous way that no one will ever see them. They just need to be strong. And I cannot express that enough. My bricklaying abilities, ugly. But there is some sort of gap and they're just tied together with wall ties, but we'll see. Because previously I've had engineering bricks when I've done this, and I've just put engineering bricks on edge where they have the holes in them. I haven't got any of those. I don't think it's dying for the airflow in this room, but I will try add some airflow. There is some gaps in the brickwork. So as the gas comes into the room where that tiny little lintel is there, there's a gap here that runs all the way underneath the flooring. So lots of ventilation there. So I'll just try to continue that across into this section over here. Just try to give some more perspective on this room. It's the old kitchen, which is probably going to be a utility. There'll be a door going somewhere here. That's my gas main, so I need to be quite careful. And then boiler probably somewhere here, flue going straight outside or straight up. I could do either. I'm going to get this section cleared out and then cut down those blocks, mix up some muck in the barrow, as I still don't have electricity, get those in and let it go off. I just want to add, it's been 7 weeks, but the electricity is actually booked in for this coming week, where the house has got electricity, it just doesn't have a meter. So you could, I'm not going to, and I haven't, also I'm filming this on YouTube, don't want to go to jail, and I wouldn't do something like that. You could bypass where they're going to put the meter in, because there's no meter in the property. There is electricity directly into the property, so you could, in theory, not saying do this, not saying I'm going to do it, because I'm definitely not, you could just connect that up and you could run electricity for free and be like, there's no meter here, what do I do about electricity? And they come out and they're like, oh, well, the meter's never been connected, but there does look like there has been some electricity connected up. And you're like, oh, I've never used it, I don't know. You could do that, I'm not doing that. But I had it on my last house where I did have a meter, phoned them up day one, and it was one of the old analog meters. And I was like, this isn't working at all. It's not registering anything. And they were like, oh, you got a key that you have to go to the shop and top it up. I was like, oh, I think I had one of them, my parents' home when I was a kid. I used to go top it up at the shop and whatnot. We need £10 on the electric, that sort of thing. And we couldn't, yeah, they wouldn't come out and do a smart meter for me for whatever reason at the time. So I was like, okay, I'll just continue using that. They were like, yep, when it runs out, just go top it up. Phone them back up about after 6 months, and I was like, I've not had to top this up once. It's still saying nothing on the screen. And they were like, oh, that doesn't seem right. We'll send someone out, we'll put someone in. They put someone in, they kept the person, they cancelled, I don't know what happened. And it never got booked in. So when I was about to move into the house, I was like, I've still not had anything. I'm just worried I'm going to get a massive electricity bill. And they sent me out a massive electricity bill. It was for like £600-700, but I hadn't been in the property other than running 2 little power sockets off of it. So I said to them, I need a smart meter to track this because this doesn't seem right with my usage. And they said, oh no, it's an estimated bill. So that's your standing charge plus what we think a 3-bed end of terrace would have used in this time based off the property's previous usage and all this. And I was like, yeah, but I've not been living in the property. And I've explained this issue, called you a few times, tried to sort it out. And they were like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to raise a complaint for you. I wasn't irate or anything. And they went ahead and just raised the complaint for me, which is fine. They could do that. And I wasn't disgruntled or anything. I understood. I was like, oh, I'm probably going to have to pay at least a good chunk of this. They phoned me back a week later and, oh, we're so sorry. We want to apologise and everything. It's been raised with Ofgem, like this complaint. And I was like, okay, or it's going to be raised with Ofgem. I looked into it, and apparently it costs over £500 to raise a complaint through the energy regulator. Don't quote me on that, but this is going off memory of like a year ago. And they said, oh, the electricity, don't worry about all that bill, we'll start fresh from now. So I could have been running half the streets, electric cars, everything, and never been charged a bill. So yeah, it is good to get them involved, but yeah, try not to break the law. I don't think that's a good idea. Especially if you're stealing electricity. I've got lots of friends who are electricians, and I've heard lots of stories. So one of my friends told me a story of a house, a massive great big mansion that was being connected, and he had to go around and do some electric work, and it turned out like the previous owner who owned the house had run a meter, but only to their garage. They had a big like detached garage with like its own separate living quarters, and the main part of the house was also connected from the road, but there was no metering involved. And these people had just bought the house, and they were like, oh, electricity bills are so small for a house this size, we thought it would be way more. Turned out their entire electricity supply was bypassing the meter for the main house. They were still getting a metered bill and everything, but it was for a tiny little self-contained garage annex sort of thing on this giant multi-million-pound property, and that went on for ages. Here's the best way to show it. That's that section back here where my footing sort of stops here, but you can see that's coming off the shovel. It's solid. It's like a concrete base has been poured here already, so I'm just going to lay on top of that.
Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Where you look, where you touch, where you feel, yeah. Yeah. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about me and you? Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you?
So those joists are on, they're not in, and you can see I had a bit of a mishap. So I had to router out the tops of the wall plates. I've got something wrong with my calculations, or with my laser, or marked one of the timbers wrong. Something, but it's reversible, so I had to router out that much, so when the joist sits in there, like that, it's then level. Like that across those, and then it will match in to the other room, and then it's all about getting it level that way. which it is. So next job, obviously sit this one in, so I don't have to just show you that bit, but get the noggins in, and that will tighten all this floor up, and then I can just get a temporary bit of plyo down until I put the insulation and services underneath.
Can we talk about the truth? I wanna know, I wanna know. Can we talk about me and you? Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah. Will you know? Will you touch? Will you feel? Yeah.
But other than my error, really happy with how that went. I've left a 1200 gap for the noggins, in between the noggins, and that's just to stop the ends twisting. You put the noggins in, gives it rigidity, but also each one of these pockets will just be one cut off a sheet of insulation. So they come in 2.4 meters by 1.2, and I literally just cut off the 2.4 meter length to 400 centers, which these all are. So that's one is in level, and then level to the other room. Focus. You can see it all the way across. Perfect. And then this way. And I've wrapped the ends of the joist where it comes in contact with the brickwork. These ones, the ends aren't wrapped, but the wall plate is wrapped. That wall plate right there, that has a wrap on it, DPM, DPC, rather.
Then the final bit, the bay window section. So this bit, no chemical fixing. They're fixed similar to noggins, where they're such short spans, and the wall plate's halfway across the timber. So wrapping one end, fixing them to the end of the existing joists, and then leveling them as I go. But very repetitive task. This one, quickest of the lot, because everything else is set out. I can just level it off what we've already got, and it's done. But then it's just checking it's all level and everyone's happy with it. I was super happy with it because it's perfectly level. Yep. I know. There's a little twist in the timber there, but all level, all flat. And that's the floor joists all done.
Thank you for watching. I know it's quite a long video and it is quite a repetitive task, but it's 60, 70 square meters of flooring all throughout the house, and it's a structural item, so it's got to be done correctly, and you've got to plan ahead for other things that are going in place, like the services, and you're trying to plan for the insulation and all those different bits. So it's important to spend the time getting it right. Sorry if it was a bit repetitive for some of you, but yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah, Justin Dami, Alvin, let's go. Yeah. I'm in the whip with authority, looking like Sky Bree, she got a body, ayy. And she been calling me daddy lately.